now that I'm back from Yonkers, now that I'm back from Philadelphia, now that I'm back from all of that stuff, let's go ahead and talk about what has gone on in the last bit. Where have I been? What have I been doing? All that fun stuff. So, if you did not know, if you did not realize, I've been gone for a bit now, which kind of sucks, because I would have liked to have been here for the last bit, especially for some of the things that have been happening recently. But my goal is to come back in full swing, and we'll see where we get with everything. That all said, what was I doing up in Yonkers? Jamal Bowman tried to run against, I mean, he was the incumbent, he didn't really have a choice, ran against Vladimir up there and ended up losing. But my goal going up there was to canvas. A lot of other content creators went up there as well. In fact, actually, I have a photo of all the content creators who went up there that I'll go ahead and show you guys here in just a second. But holy freaking crap, this was an experience for me. I have not done canvassing before, and I've also definitely not done canvassing in a heat wave before. But let's talk about what went on there. So here is most of the content creators who were involved in this particular event. We've got me, we've got Stacy K, we've got Lumi Rue, we have Ariana, we have Vaush, there's also Alec Gunter, there's We're in Hell, J-Reg is there as well, Nominal Naomi was there, Chill Goblin, and Riverboat Jack was running it, was helping run things as well, with Not So Erudite in the background, keeping everything running and functioning. Brenna says, who is Jamal Bowman? What makes him so special? Who is he? Sure, I can get into that very, very quickly. So Jamal Bowman was the incumbent in Yonkers up in New York. He was a Democrat who managed to unseat an incumbent Democrat previously to him, who was more of a older establishment Democrat. One of the big things about Jamal Bowman is he is part of the squad. He is very, very friendly with people like AOC and Bernie Sanders. The big thing with Jamal Bowman, though, is he was very in support of Palestine. And that actually ended up being his downfall here. AIPAC, the Israeli foreign interest group in the United States, spent almost $35 million on the general in Vladimir's favor, on the election in Vladimir's favor. So, for those who don't know how elections work here in the United States, there's a election that determines whether you have particular people going up against the other people. So for the Democrats, there would be an election that would be had before that Democrat ends up running against another person later when we're talking about, say, the United States presidential elections. This case, though, there was just a Democrat who was basically bought by Israel, Vladimir, running against Jamal Bowman, who was the incumbent there. Big things with Jamal, aside from being in support of Palestine, is also the fact that he is very, very for education, like severely for it. The dude was a middle school teacher before he actually became a politician. So, personally, I like the guy. He's also done a shit ton of work and speaking for trans people. He has gone up against several Republicans just in Congress, pointing out the ways in which they are bullying and trying to force trans people to not be able to live their lives. All in all, a very, very pleasant dude. One of the few politicians who doesn't seem to be, bought. They come few and far between, so when we have them, we'd like to try to keep them. Unfortunately, like I said, he did end up losing to Vladimir, and most of that comes down to the fact that Vladimir had, and I'll say it again, over $30 million pledged by AIPAC alone to get him elected. Vladimir had the backing of Hillary Clinton and Trump. Oh, wow, that's not the screen I'm supposed to be on. This is the screen I'm supposed to be on. When the conservatives and the establishment Democrats both want you, we probably on the left don't fucking want you. But Vladimir got in on that. So the goal was get a bunch of content creators together in Yonkers to do a bunch of canvassing the few days before the election, because the early voting was happening during the canvassing, and the election itself was held on Tuesday. So he ended up losing, which sucks. I'm hoping that he will try again in the future, because money in politics is bullshit, and there is far too much of that money in politics in general. I don't like having another Joe Manchin in a seat right now, but that is currently what we have now that Vladimir has the seat there. That said, when I posted this, showing me and all the other content creators, all I said was, hey, content creators all agree, get politically involved, make change, canvass. In this case, canvassing is just basically going door to door and, knocking on the door, saying, hey, how are you doing? In this case, my name is Suris. I'm here to talk to you about the election coming up. Do you plan on voting? Who do you plan on voting for? Well, I want to talk to you about, in this case, Jamal Bowman. Did you know that, and you go down the list of everything that he has accomplished, as long as a person is willing to listen to you, and you're basically trying to create more educated voters. And people get angry about that, but I'm going to be honest, they shouldn't. It's idiotic to get angry about people canvassing, because there are people in the United States that believe for some reason that they should be so far divorced from politics that they never have to know anything about it. They get to just close their ears. The problem is there are minority groups that will never, ever, ever get to close their ears from politics, because people, especially conservatives, have made their lives political. Being gay shouldn't be political, but when gay people have had to fight to be allowed to marry, it becomes political. Being trans shouldn't be political, but when your access to HRT is barred by politicians who've never cracked open a medical journal in their fucking life, your life is political. You don't really get an option at that point. Briar says, like a vacuum cleaner salesman, it is a lot like door-to-door salesmaning stuff, but you're not selling anything. You are just talking to people and saying, hey, when you go vote, maybe vote for my guy. Also, if you're not planning on voting, maybe get up and vote. Maybe go and do that thing that you're allowed to do. It's the bare minimum that you're able to do in the United States. The smallest thing you can do is be involved in democracy. It's the tiniest fucking thing. And for the people who think that every vote doesn't count, you're right. Your vote doesn't count if you don't vote. But your vote does count. If it didn't count, then AIPAC wouldn't be spending millions of dollars on a campaign against your guy. Anyway. Axo says, vote if you can. Not everyone can legally vote. I'm not talking to the minors here, because I'm not a Minecraft YouTuber. Said, you're selling the continuation of our democracy. Correct. But a fun thing happened when I posted this particular photo. Notice how this has 5.1 million views. Now, why did it get that? Well, my thought is that this post made its way onto Poll or some other place. Basically, the post went far outside of the cesspool of my audience and found its way into the cesspool of the internet. Now, once that happens, you get all kinds of things, like people going, I see Vaush and immediately assume you and your group are gross. Sorry, I don't make the rules. No, you do. Those are social rules. You wrote them yourself. You chose to have those social rules for yourself. You chose to believe what idiots online have said about other content creators, and you have decided that those are the rules you wish to abide by. Or we have people going forward. Let's see here. Is this a Reddit meetup? Why are they all so gross looking? And I don't even understand where everybody's all gross looking, but if you want to know the answer to why we all felt gross, it's because there was a heat wave in Yonkers at the time. And we all went and canvassed out in the hot sun on cobblestone streets. So we had lots and lots of bottles of water, and Jesus Christ, every single person that went out there and canvassed is a fucking trooper. Every single person who did that are amazing. Who's the fat Jewish dude with the purple hair? If you mean the woman who is Naomi right there, that's not a dude, that is a girl. But you can see basically how all these posts are. I've seen more diversity at a Klan rally. Despite the fact that multiple content creators of multiple ethnic backgrounds were invited out to this event, these are the ones that happened to show up. But don't worry, I guess it's a Klan rally because there happens to be less melanin in the skin of everyone here that you would prefer. But that's basically what the entire section of the internet here that got this post decided to focus on. More than anything, focusing on looks, focusing on people being leftists, calling everybody in the group pedophiles, despite, as far as I'm aware, nobody in this group or any group I've ever affiliated with having any kind of history like that. But it's the internet, so I guess facts don't matter. They've never mattered. Red Jugger says, normies are getting mad at Gura singing during a Dodgers game. People are primed to be toxic. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I did a stream later with Naomi and a bunch of other content creators where we talked about the fact that when you get in front of a person, when you talk to somebody in real life, they don't act like that. This strange thing happens on the internet where we're primed to be fucking assholes to each other, but the absolute nanosecond that you talk to somebody in real life, that doesn't happen anymore. People stop being dickbags to one another. I guess just the threat of being punched in the face by a real person is enough of a deterrent. Yeah, you're within punching distance, so that's enough of a deterrent. But I do want to go over some of the photos from the event itself, because this was a really fun time for me. And I wanted to do an edited video about all this, but then I realized that all the footage that we have from the event is in RAW, where the audio is split away from it. I've never worked with raw footage before, so instead, we're going to show pictures from the event. This was as all of us were getting our primers, basically. So if you've never canvassed before, if an organization is involved in canvassing for you, they will give you a set of talking points to say, hey, for those of you who may have memory issues, or those of you who may not have done all the research on the candidate, here is your stuff that you're going to talk about. It's the same thing that happens when you go and lobby. You have a set of talking points so that you can stay on topic, because everybody you're talking to, quite frankly, has better things to do than talk to you, whether it's a politician or a person stepping out of their house. So you have to be able to not waste their time while you are going through this. But this is from when me and Vaush went out and did canvassing together. There's Riverboat Jack, me and Riverboat Jack walking together. There's a lot of pictures from this event. I've only got a few of them. And not necessarily in the correct order, unfortunately. Here is when we were all getting talked to before we went out and did our canvassing together. Robbie says, stay on topic, stay on topic. Wait, what are we not staying on topic for? I'm so confused. What? Anyways, Silent CDN, thank you for the resubscription. M Differs also, thank you very much for redeeming your points for an... I'm sorry I didn't get to that earlier. But let's see here. Do I have... Oh, I do have some video from here where I was talking during the... or after doing interview stuff.
So far, it's been pretty good. A bit warm. Got a little bit of exercise in, especially on this hill here. It's honestly been a fun experience so far. Awesome. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and it's been awesome. What did you think about that? We talked.
Let me see if I can I increase the volume for this, like, at all? Please? Let me just open this here.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Chris, how was your day so far?
It's been pretty good. A bit warm. Got a little bit of exercise in, especially on this hill here. It's honestly been a fun experience. And
tiny bit of volume.
A lot of people seem to be obsessed with this idea that they're 1 in 1,000 or 1 in a million, and that's why their vote doesn't matter. But that's actually the reason why it does matter. Mm-hmm. Every single person is an important part of making this work, and if they don't go out and do it, then, and again, like the bare minimum things, go out, vote, put your voice out there. You don't have to be the person that goes...
And we don't have to keep listening to me talk. I'm already here. I'm already talking to you. So, and instead of me watching a video of me, which is a bit much. more pictures from the event. This was during Saturday. So Saturday, all the canvassers got together with the content creators. We basically shook a bunch of people's hands, introduced ourselves to those who did or didn't know us, and then said, hey, you guys are going to go out and do a fan-fucking-tastic job, and then on Sunday, we will be following in your footsteps and doing the same thing. So Saturday was a bunch of camera work. There was like 3 different sets here running constant live streams and constant video feeds. There's video of me like running around in a chair. Literally, this is how professional I am at these events, by the way. Apparently, the cameras kept on focusing on me as I was spinning around in a chair, just going all around the gymnasium, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I was doing. So not gonna lie, that's what I do. Good times, it seems. Here was J-Reg doing the same thing before I want to get footage from this. So this is right before we were prepared to do a panel on voting and canvassing. This was Riverboat Jack, Chill Goblin, We're in Hell, me, and Vaush, with J-Reg just in the background. We ended up doing a big panel on voting and getting out and involved in politics, why it matters, some of the impact of money in politics. And I want to get that footage. I need to get that footage so I can put that panel on my channel. But it was a fun event, and I'm not gonna lie, most of the people who were there for Vaush. Like, more than anyone else of the, like, 250 canvassers that showed up, the biggest portion of them, they were there to say hi to Vaush, shake his hand, and go do things there. It's one of the reasons why I've found that a lot of people who may or may not like the dude on the internet, I've never been in that camp, and I've done videos criticizing him before. In fact, I talked to him about that while we were at the event, of like, hey, remember when it was like the J.K. Rowling video where he was being really misogynistic, and I was talking to him about that during the event itself, just being like, hey, remember when I did this video on you? So like we've always been fairly friendly to each other, and that didn't change during this event at all. So this did show me that in terms of getting people to go out and do things politically, he is very effective at that. Every content creator here was important in doing that. There were fans here for every content creator, but in terms of scope, I'm not gonna lie, there was one who basically dwarfed all of us there. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the reality of the situation. Here is another picture of during the panel, when, I think this is actually when I was speaking specifically, but it's not video. I don't have that video yet. Blizzy is not live yet. No, I need to get Blizzy turned on. That feels weird to say, but let's go ahead and just a lot of pictures from that particular panel. I'm not gonna lie, I do want to get that panel on my channel really bad because I enjoyed it a lot. During the actual community night event, though, so after Saturday, there was a community night event, and during the community night event, Vaush had a cheese wheel and was just cutting off pieces of cheese for everybody. Apparently, that's been a meme on his channel for a bit. Saki and I set up a bunch of Magic the Gathering cards over in a corner and just let anybody who wanted to come in and join a game of Magic play Magic. That's apparently what I do when I'm at a professional event. I spin around in a chair, and when I'm not spinning around in a chair, I'm playing Magic the Gathering. But if I'm not doing that, I don't have pictures of this particular bit, but there was a moment while a photo op was happening on Sunday, before we did our big panel, where I grabbed a Beyblade arena and sat it on the table that we were supposed to be using for the panel and just started playing Beyblades with people. And then I walked away and everybody just kept on playing Beyblades even when I wasn't there, when I was occupied doing other things. So that is apparently my job now if I go to any of these events, is to just bring fun things to the events. And Differs, thank you for the posture check. I'll go ahead and do that. And most of that's because I believe that while politics is serious business, while politics is important, levity is also very important. Taking the time to recognize that we are humans. We are not machines that just go out, work, breathe, sleep, and die. We have hobbies, we have interests, we have things that we love, people we enjoy being around. I like being able to bring some focus to that. It's one of the reasons why I talk about politics from a VTuber avatar, because I think it's important to have fun with this stuff, irrespective of how much fun people think may or may not be involved in stuff like this. I said, Sarah Chikorita says, I think they want to use this as if we were... Well, yeah, there's lots of corporations that would prefer to use people as if they didn't have lives and joy and all kinds of shit. But I'm going to be honest, I would rather focus very, very hard on that human element. We've all got experiences. We've all got stories. We've all got stuff that is important to us. And even those of us that advocate for trans rights, gay rights, rights of minorities to not be, shot by fucking police, even when we are focusing so hard on all of that, we can't forget to have fun. You can't allow yourself to get lost in the sauce of being so serious about everything that you don't have fun, that you forget what it's like to live. There's surviving, and then there is living and thriving. So that's a lot of words to justify, I really like playing games. And bringing games to a big political event seemed to be a proper thing to do. So maybe it's special interest and hyperfixations taking over everywhere else. Also, how's it going, Smacko? See ya, and hopefully you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for saying it's good to have me back. I appreciate being back. It also looks like we've got about 23 people over at Suris, or Nekosuris Live, which is my live channel over on YouTube. I've moved all of my live stuff over to YouTube, a secondary YouTube channel. That way there's not any... What's the best way to put this? That way the YouTube algorithm doesn't fuck me on the main channel any harder than it already does. So maybe go subscribe to that channel if you haven't already. Algorithm fuck. Yeah. Shadow Wolf says, Suris, you triggered my autism and it will not be satiated until you tell me what generation. Oh, these are all the professional Beyblades that Hasbro had to produce because their fans were bitching about their Beyblades not being up to snuff to the Japanese ones. These are the Hasbro Pro allegories to the Japanese Beyblades that were released about 2-3 years ago, something like that. They are functionally burst models, but yeah. Dorito Dave says, still waiting on that wrench, and you will wait even longer. So, Hasbro Pro is Japanese standard? Yeah, basically. Basically, Hasbro has not handled the Beyblade license very well, as far as I've been able to tell. It was Japanese... Said I haven't played Beyblades in a while. Okay, so Burst, that is pretty much all I needed to know. Hasbro Pro Series is slightly weaker materials, but they are doing phenomenal with Beyblade X. I'm so proud of them. Nice! Dave says, I love being cucked with a wrench. Well, at least I made you watch. Jassa says, nor have they handled MTG very well. No, they haven't. The Mothership hasn't handled anything I love very well. Is that a surprise? They're not great with their doll license either. No, Hasbro just kind of sucks. Hasbro just kind of sucks. Also, I'm having trouble getting you a wrench, Dave, and I'm not going to fight Google being stupid to make it happen. I will be getting you one. It just will take me a second. Basically, my live chat isn't loading over on YouTube, no matter how much I try. Which will make it impossible for me to do anything. It's just saying something went wrong. I said, don't sweat it. Well, I'll try not to sweat it. I didn't even think about it until you mentioned it. Which probably shows how much I'm not sweating it, all things considered. What is it with Hasbro products being better from Japan? Because Hasbro doesn't have a lot of passion in most of their licenses. Their goal is just make money. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. It's a stream without a few little tech issues. Yeah, just a few. Just a few tech issues. That said, all in all, the event itself was great. Progressive Victory were very, very good hosts to all the content creators. As far as I could tell, I didn't notice any issues for any of the other creators that were there, and I'm hoping to do some content with all the creators that I spent so much time with at that event. I know Naomi, from being in Yonkers, apparently found a new girlfriend. She's been posting about that on Twitter a lot, so that's honestly really fucking cool. I know that a lot of the other creators have been very, very tired, those that I've talked with, and Alex Gunter and me, I think, are going to be doing something together on Tuesday. So I've tried to keep up with everybody as best I can, within degrees of reasonability. But that all said, Red Joker, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub. I appreciate it. Hamma, thank you for redeeming your points for an owl. That all said, all in all, it is an experience that I wouldn't mind having again, and the next time that an event like this is happening where it will be reasonable for me to attend, I'll try to attend, and I'll try to keep everybody in my audience posted on that as well. That way, if you want to go out and get involved with me while I go out and try to do political work, you can do that. You can just get up and come with effectively. If you want to get in a game of Magic, that's probably the best time to get that in as well. Is this a new office or new lighting? This is the old office and the old lighting, different camera angle. That's all it is a different camera angle. The only thing I will say after everything is my bank account has drained very, very fast, because after the Yonkers event, Saki and I went to Philadelphia for the Too Many Games event, where I spent time talking with my non-political side of everything. So, yeah, Too Many Games was great. I got a Game Boy Advance SP while I was there, and a copy of Pokemon Silver with a brand new battery. And that makes me very happy. But, that all said, thank you all for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be ending this video segment, but not the stream itself. I'll be continuing that, but that was the experience over in Yonkers. I had a great time. Hopefully, y'all like my recap of things. Not as organized as I originally intended it to be, but you'll see some more footage from it in the future as I get things stapled together. Insert end of video tagline here. Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Red Joker, Blitzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Nixie-chan, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.